Just playing some rapid chess over here. It's time to go. Hoping to get a bird game. Currently 2607, we're slowly going up. Oh, and look at that, we're playing someone from Brazil. All right, f4, e4, I love this opening. This is like my favorite variation in bird's defense. Okay, here we play knight f3. If they play d5, things get very frisky. We take here, takes back, and we play knight e5. This is classic stuff. We have bishop b5 stuff coming. I think in this case, yeah, we should play d4 here because we don't want to let them play d4. Yeah, these positions get pretty crazy. Honestly, I have to review the theory. Big surprise there. But I think the idea is just we're going to play bishop e3, queen d2, and castle. Maybe they could try bishop b4, in which case we might have to shake things up. All right, let's play bishop e3 here. G4 looks really interesting. I remember there are a lot of G4 ideas in these positions. I can't remember how it goes exactly, but it's definitely one of the key ideas here. All right, if we play G5 now, they play F6. I'm not really sure what we've accomplished with that. Let's just start with bishop D3. If he plays F6, we can play knight F3. Now in this position, G5 is becoming serious. Oh, he can check. Why didn't I see that? Here I am just missing basic things. Guys, it's really hot in here. I had the AC blasting. Bossman was complaining a lot, but I mean, ultimately, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, it's also laundry day here in Brazil, so I had to do all my laundry, so I'm stuck in this long sleeve shirt. This is a Uniqlo shirt. Uniqlo has great clothes, honestly. All right, I guess what is this? They want to take, and then bring their knight to b4. Okay, we could try bishop f5, right? Bishop f5 is a little sneaky. Setting up ideas of bishop e6. Yeah, let's go for that, honestly. This looks really interesting. I don't think we have to do this. Maybe they could just play queen d6 here. Yeah, this move might have been a waste of time. c6? Well, no, I'm happy about this, though. I'm going to check. I wanted to play f5, but maybe they have knight c7 too soon. Yeah, I think I've gotten way too frisky. So things have gotten way too frisky in the Cabbage Patch. I'm going to play g5 here. I'm pretty much just clearing the way. I'm going to just get my queen out. Now if knight c7, my bishop can still retreat, and if my bishop can retreat there, okay, well this looks good, because we have queen h5 coming. I guess he's going to try to bring his knight back to f6. He could also take, and play queen d6. It doesn't do that much, though. Like, granted, this looks scary, but no, queen d6, I even have queen g4, knight c7, bishop f5. It looks tricky. Some would even say it looks cheesy, but it's, oh. Has he had that this whole time? Guys, I think I'm just losing here. Yeah, no, both of these pieces are hanging. Guys, I'm dead lost. Alright, I'm gonna resign here. Yeah, let's look at the analysis briefly. I'm resigning because I don't, I just want to get another game quickly. And I don't want to have to deal with, like, just groveling in a completely hopeless position down a piece here. I think I definitely had a big advantage here. Alright. Very weird position here. Yeah, long story short, bishop b7, knight c3 defending e4. They play e6, knight f3, d5. And yeah, most people in this position, they go for d4, and this is where things get really crazy. You play check here and then bishop c4. Because you threw in this check, their pawn is here, and that's going to facilitate knight e4 ideas. And you play knight e4 here. These positions are very interesting. Like, this is not that clear. And I think white is actually just definitely better. You're going to play d3, queen e2, and just slowly castle queenside. Very good chances. So anyway, my opponent instead plays knight f6. And now that he's more developed, the c4 move is going to come with more force, so we should prevent it with d4. Bishop e7, bishop e3. Apparently I'm just supposed to play g4 immediately. Yeah, I think chess.com's computer is taking a while to load. But anyway, so bishop e3, I play g4 now. What is the difference? If g4 now castles, then g5. Yeah, knight e4. This looks like it's heading to the same type of position that I would have gotten in the game, though. Yeah, it's tricky stuff. I mean, like, this is one of the main things. If you've done this chapter in my course, you're going to know these positions well. We're just going to play queen d2, castle queenside. The fact that this pawn chain is advanced means our counterplay Or our play should be much quicker on the king side. Yeah, this is very tricky, honestly. I'm not... I have to review these lines, honestly. I haven't done that chapter in depth. I remember one half of the chapter, which is just focusing on how to slice through hippopotamus systems. So, like, half of the chapter just talks about these types of positions where they don't do anything. And they do something like this. They play d6, you castle, they play knight e7, you just have to hit them with f5 and you're pretty much winning. I know these well, but I gotta review these other ones. Because I made a big blunder here. Bishop e3. What am I supposed to do? Okay, g4. I'll mark that down for the future. Apparently g4 is just inaccurate. Yeah, he plays bishop e4 here. This reminds me of a game that I got against Arjun Erigaisi, and he pretty much hit me with this, and I got into some trouble. So I guess probably in this position I made a mistake with bishop e3, and so because of that, because I made the mistake with bishop e3, I should just be a little more... I have to just be more solid here and not go for the kitchen sink. Computer wants me to play queen f3, I'll castle queenside. And yeah, this is a good position. This is a really fine position. Computer's still saying that this is just equal, but this looks much funner for white. I guess, like, ultimately we have a good knight here, but the flip side for them is that they're going to have this fantastic square for their knight. Notice that because we pushed f4 and d4, that is a weak square. All right, so g4, knight e8, bishop d3, f6. I felt I had to be much better here. Knight f3. Oh, wow, I could have made the sacrifice. That's shocking. Look at that. Takes. He has no way to get rid of my bishop, and I think I'm just going to play... Okay, so if I play g5, I'm opening a bit too many files, but look at what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play queen f3, queen h3. Knight d7, queen f3. He has no way to get rid of my bishop in time. Rook f7. Yeah, he has to clear space, because now his knight is able to come here. Also, his king can run this way in some situations. Computer's saying I castle queenside here, and I have full compensation. Very, very weird. Apparently here he has to play f5 to clear more squares for his pieces. Now his knights can use the f6 square. And his bishop. Instead, if he plays knight f8 here, we would take, play f5. Yeah, we're much better here. We're just going to throw these pawns up the board, and eventually we're just going to get them very close to black's king, and black's king is never really going to be fully safe here. All right, so I just played knight f3. Really big mistake. Bishop a6. I should have taken and played queen e2. I got too focused on the, I got too lost in the sauce. Yeah, I was just way too ambitious here. Instead I played bishop f5. I was just seeing fantasies of, I don't know, like bishop e6, f5, and then knight h4, knight g6 with some type of mating attack. But yeah, it just doesn't work at all. He plays c6. And yeah, apparently this is just a wildly inaccurate game. He could play bishop b4 here, which would be even better with queen e7. Threats on my bishop. But okay, so he played c6. I threw in a check. Should have just played knight h4 here, but I doubled down. Went for the old double-double. Check here. And only now did I realize that if I play f5, I've just locked my bishop in, and he's going to exchange it, and this is not going to be worthwhile. When I'd gone for this bishop f5 idea, I was really banking on the fact that something like this would happen, and in this case, if my bishop is going to stay here a while, then my initial appraisal would actually be correct. I'd just be winning here because I have way too many attacking chances. I'm going to play something like knight h4, and if they play knight d7, we could just play check, takes, and queen f3, and we're going to be playing for checkmate. I don't think he has any way to stop it. I guess he's going to have to try knight f7. We could just check here, there, takes. Yeah, this is forced mate in 5, according to computer. All right. So anyway, I made another mistake. I played g5. I got lost in the sauce. He takes. Yeah, dude, I was really just making a lot of mistakes. This is a huge blunder here. I completely forgot that both these bishops are hanging here. He plays queen e7, and it's just over for me. If I play queen g4, he plays knight c7, he's going to win one of these bishops. Yeah, going back here, actually, if I just play knight e5, I have very good compensation. I have knight f7 ideas, also queen h5 to threaten knight g6. So what are the takeaways from this game? Well, the first takeaway from this game is that you got to do your chessable move trainer if you want to peck like an eagle. Second thing is that in these types of positions here, knight e5, knight f6, d4, bishop e7, in my chessable course, I recommend g4 here, but I do stand by that recommendation, but at the same time, you should understand pushing your pawns like this while your king is in the center is very risky. Some would even say that it's frisky business. So you better be careful, and you better learn your lines well and understand the nuances behind why you can break the opening rules like this. Let's play another game. I'm slurring my words here because of the heat. It's really hot here in Joinville. And to make things even hotter, I have myself a fresh espresso Duplo from my local McDonald's. Okay, we're playing Veggie Kales. I don't know what that's about. Oh, okay, I understand. It's a play on Veggie Tales, of course. Okay, so E45. Guys, I have great news for the E45 Part 1. Pretty much Chessable has already imported it onto the platform, and now it seems like it's very close to going through the beta test at this point. So, like, long story short, what does this mean for the course? It means it's probably only 2 months away, which is great news because I hadn't gotten any news for like the past month about what was going on with this E45 course. Okay, let's play D6 here. We're gonna play Knight A5. Oh, sorry, we could play D5 actually. Yeah, the whole theory, according to tier list, is that they have to play rook E1 first to anticipate our D5, because in that position, this E5 pawn will be hanging. All right, let's play Knight A5 here. Playing Veggie Kales. All right, C5. I've been really hitting it hard at the gym. This gym is 24 hours. Last night I went at midnight. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I don't have any reason to wake up early because all my lessons, I don't have many lessons, but the lessons that I do have, I all put in the evening. So, yeah, your boy is flying free like a bird. What do we play here? We could definitely try bishop e6. I need to honestly learn these positions better. I don't think we get this exact position in my course, but we get positions that are sort of similar to this. There's some positions in my course where you get this position, but with their bishop here, and that's a lot less, that's pretty much completely uncritical because their bishop is just useless. Um, Here, what are we doing here? We could play bishop e6. I think bishop e6 is fine. Like, there are some situations in which bishop e6 is a little inaccurate and they're going to get a point to advantage. I'm used to playing these positions, though, so I'm not really worried about this. Yeah, I've played this position way too many times. I think, yeah, the Natyrlist book that I always have been mentioning, that book came out in, like, fall 2016. I read that book, and since then, for, like, 5 or 6 years, before I adopted the Najdorf to make my ultimate push to GM, okay, let's take here. Yeah, let's get his rook to come over here. This is just really misplaced now, this rook. All right, we'll play knight c6. I'm playing for d5 soon. Also have knight at b4 ideas. He should probably play c3, then we could play d5. There, we'll play d5. This is mirroring a game that I played against a French IM. It's a game that's actually covered in my domination course. It's Kotanek. I'm probably butchering that name. Kotanek against Sturt. So those of you who have my domination course, you can go check that game out. But pretty much the same exact thing happens. We get this opening, I trade on a2, and I quickly try to play for the initiative in the center because his rook is going to be very misplaced here. If I just take here, bring my rooks to e8 and d8, and quickly go for something like e4, c4, I should have good chances of an advantage. Knight g3 is very interesting. If I take, that doesn't really do anything. d4 leads to a weird King's Indian. I have no idea how to evaluate that King's Indian. On the one hand, I don't have my good bishop, but on the other hand, his rook is really useless on a2. Probably we need to be a little more careful about this knight f5 idea. Let's just play rook e8 here. This is just a universally useful move. No matter how things shake out, my rook is going to be better placed here than on f8. In some cases, my bishop might park on f8 as well. Yeah, this is weird. I'm thinking, like, if we're playing this like a King's Indian, we should be introducing tension on the queen side as soon as possible, so we should be playing c4 here. Yeah, and better to do it now, actually, because if I play d4 first, yeah, if I play d4 first, then c4 is going to be really hard to achieve, especially after he plays b3. All right, bishop g5. Could we play c4? I really want to play c4. We could also take, knight b4. Have I always had that? I'm hitting the rook and I'm going to take on c2. I must be missing something. I feel like that works, though. Strange stuff ahead. I think that works. Let's takes, knight takes. Yeah, what am I missing here? Takes. Of course, structurally speaking, I should never go for that because I'm going to a position with really weak light squares. But knight b4 is going to win material. And rook a3, I'm going to take on c2. He plays something like rook c3. I could play knight d4 there. And if he takes on e5, I have bishop d6. And I'm thinking about taking on g3 and playing knight e2 check. I think that works. I really think that works. Okay, we're going to go for it. Because if he does anything else, if he takes any other way, if he takes with the knight, for instance, then I can take here. Okay, he's going right into it. And we play knight b4 here. This is my plan. I'm grabbing the apple. Give me the pawn. Okay, let's take here. Hitting the rook. And now knight d4. This is my whole idea. We're eyeing e2. If he takes here, of course, we take back, and we've just kept our extra pawn, which is great. If he takes here, we're going to play bishop d6 because I'm trying to get at this knight. Once we get rid of this knight, this fork is going to be legitimate. Takes, bishop d6. Maybe they could take here. Then we take back, knight f3. Bishop d6 takes, knight f3, takes. What is going on? There's a lot of weird stuff in this position. Bishop d6. This is my whole idea. Bishop d6. Knight f3, we take there. That looks great, because if knight takes d4, we have knight takes e4. But bishop d6. Oh, wait. Can I take on e4? That's a beautiful move. Look at that. Takes on e4. If he takes here, we take here. No, then they take here and they're hitting our knight. That's not good. But look at this. Takes, we take here. He takes back, we take here. Or I can even just play knight e2 there. That should be winning. Takes. Bishop takes. Or I could even play takes, knight e2 check, king h1. Then takes. I think that works. Let me just double check. Takes, check. King, where should the king go? The king should probably go to h1. That's the least tactically accessible square. We take here. If they take this, then we get their knight. That's winning. We're up in exchange there. If they, so check here, takes. If they take with the knight, then we just take with the bishop. So they have to take with the pawn here. So let's look at that. Takes, check, king h1, knight takes e3, pawn takes. In that position, we have f6, or we could even just take, because takes, I'm going to pick up this knight. All right, that wins. That's a beautiful move. I'm happy I took my time there and looked for candidates. I just wouldn't have even noticed this candidate. All right. I think this is over. Tell bro to pack his bags. It's time to go. There. What am I missing? Why don't we just take here? Takes with the knight. We take here. Takes with the bishop. We take here. Takes with the pawn. We take here, and both of these are hanging. Call me the king of the jungle. Man, my rating dropped a lot because of that one game. That doesn't even make any sense. Why did my rating drop so much because of that one game? And wasn't the guy like 2,400? The guy was 2,400. Why did I drop so much? That isn't fair. That doesn't sound fair to me. I mean, we're just waiting here, pal. It's time to go. Yeah, guys, those of you who also like my channel in Portuguese, do be informed. I'm posting on the Portuguese channel quite a lot. Trying to get to 1,000 subs there. Once I get to 1,000 subs, I'm going to be monetized, making some nice YouTube ad revenue, if you know what I mean. All right, let's play bishop f6. Just target these. I'm just up in exchange here. This is completely over. He plays rook d5. The simplest thing is just takes, and then rook d8. He can't pick up this pawn because of rook d1 checkmate. Knight d5? All right. I'll grab another pawn. Knight c7? I probably should have calculated that. Luckily for me, we can just play rook d8 here, right? And we're attacking his rook. If he takes, we get this rook. Rook b1, we have rook c8 to attack his knight. Knight b5, a6, and that's just over. Yeah. That looks like it's time to go, frankly. And not in the good way. All right, rook c8. a6, just pushing the knight out. Knight a7, we just have rook a8. Takes. What's he going to take with here? Rook takes, we'll just play... Yeah, let's just play c4 here. I'm up in exchange. I also have an outside passed pawn here. This has to be over. c4 takes. c3, rook b1. c2. Bro, what is going on with this noise, man? Every now and then, there's just massive traffic outside. Anyway, c2, rook c1. Then we play rook d1 check. That's the end of the game. Let's just start pushing. Just had a big salad. Nice. Yeah, let's look at the game review. I feel I played that very well. I would predict that I had in the upper 90s. Whoa, you guys see that? You guys seeing that? This is the breakfast of champions, boys. 2950, I will happily take that, man. Yeah, scratch that other game. We're not counting that other game based on this game. This game is more representative of the channel, not that other game. It is insane though how well I can play in some games just based on intuition. Like that game I didn't calculate almost at all. Wait, what am I talking about, honestly? That game I calculated a lot. So never mind what I just said. That game was not intuitive. Anyway, yeah, in this position, if they play A4 first, I think we can play D5. Yeah, computer's saying D5 is best here. Takes, and this is just like classic theory. They play rook E1. I think you can play either bishop G4 or knight B6. Anyway, so I played D6 here. We got this position, bishop E6. Computer's saying maybe knight C6 is slightly better. From what I understand, when you allow this trade here, you're risking being slightly worse, but that's if they know exactly what to do. I don't think it's really relevant to humans. Like maybe if you're above 2600 FIDE, then you might need to worry about this. Okay, so takes, and we play knight c6 here. And this rook is just misplaced here, despite me having a lot of weak light squares, and despite my structure being visibly worse because my bishop is on the same color as my pawns. The fact that this rook is misplaced should make the difference because it's gonna, for him to coordinate this rook, it's going to take what? How much is it going to take? He's going to have to spend at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 tempi to get the rook somewhere useful. Probably not 3 tempi, maybe 2 tempi. But regardless, though, it is going to take him a while, and in the meantime, I'm going to have plenty of stuff to do actively. Knight f1. I played d5 here. Yeah, just initiating tension. That game that I was mentioning that's covered in my domination course went something like this, like takes, queen takes, b3, and then I just played something like rook d8, bishop b2, rook e8. I just played for e4 really quickly. Okay, I guess not in this case. I played for e4 in a situation... I can't remember it exactly, but pretty much I played it in a way that my queen was able to just, like, stay surveying a lot of important squares on the board. But I got some position like this where I just waited for the right time to break with e4. And besides that, I also just always had ideas of knight d4, so it was just very tricky for him. Like I think the way that game went, it was something like they put their queen on e2. I'm realizing now technically in this exact position this is not appropriate because they could just take here and win a pawn. But I just mean structurally speaking. Structurally speaking, we always have ideas of knight d4 and e4, which gives us very active chances. All right. Yeah, by the way, just to be clear, I do want to emphasize, once you get this trade in, the structure has changed dramatically. Now all of a sudden we have more space, but they have a potential target on the e-file. So it's very double-edged. You should be thinking about this d5 break whenever you play these e4, e5 positions, because it's going to lead to an imbalanced game, and imbalanced games are more likely to give you winning chances. Imbalance doesn't mean that it's necessarily better for you, though. It just means both sides can win. All right, so we got this. Takes, knight b4. And this got very interesting. Okay, so apparently here he was just supposed to take. Yeah, that would have been better. Look at that. If I take with the bishop, I drop this pawn here. So I would have to take with the g pawn. Computer's pointing out that is a wild move. Look at that. Threatening to win a rook here. With check. If he takes here, we take, we pick up a rook, and then we're picking up the bishop and we're winning. That's amazing. Rook d8 is wild. I would not find rook d8. Anyway, he's supposed to play king f1 here. He can't do anything else. If he just takes, we just take back with the... Oh, sorry, we just take here, and yeah, this knight is pinned. That's wild. I'm going to take back with... We should take back with e. We want to have a 4-on-2 on the queen side. And, yeah, this would be great for me. All right, so man played knight takes e5. This is a... Man, why is this not get a brilliant? Chess.com is so weird. You find a mate in 2 that sacrifices your queen, and Chess.com gives you a brilliant. I had to do Fisher-level calculation to appreciate this move. This is like straight out of Game of the Century type tactics with all these knights hanging around the board. Okay, honestly, it wasn't Game of the Century style stuff, but it was still good. Why is this not a brilliant? Chess.com. I'm going to lodge a formal complaint with Chess.com. I deserve a brilliant for that move. Takes here, and yeah, this game is just over here. We really just need to tally everything up at this point. I'm up in exchange. All I need to do is just figure out a way to simply and conveniently push a pass pawn on the other side up the board, because, yeah, this is just over. It's just too much for him to deal with. We're just pushing this down the board. And his king is too far away. If his king was closer, he might be able to mount some resistance, but it's just not going to happen here. Like rook b2, c3, rook c2. And simplest, actually, computer's pointing out just rook e8 here, and we're shutting the king off. The knight is pretty far geometrically speaking. I was going to say geographically. Knight is pretty far geometrically speaking from hitting the c-pawn. It's going to take him like 3 moves to actually take the c-pawn. In the meantime, we can go here, take, and then return the rook here, and just start assisting the pawn with its neighbor on b7. All right. So takeaways from this game. What are the takeaways from this game? Well, pretty much the d5 break should always be in your positional toolkit. This is literally the most important break in e4, e5 structures. You need to remember it. And it doesn't necessarily lead to better positions for you, but it leads to a massive imbalance, which either side can get practical chances out of. Like in this case here, normally in these positions, actually, like if my opponent was better developed and he didn't have a rook on a2, this would just be bad because we don't have light scored bishops on the board. And without those, these light scores are going to be extremely weak, and they're going to just turn into outposts for his knights pretty much.
It's time to go!